Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 12, here on this beautiful Monday night, March Madness National Championship. Lots of fun going on, even though it's already April, but how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing, what could be better than this? We got the finals tonight. We got our podcast to start it out. It can't get better than this.
No, it's going to be a good one, and we got a really good guest on this evening. Good friend of mine for many moons. Done a lot of different fantasy drafts and betting drafts and all other kinds of things you can think of through 20 plus years that I know him. And happy to have him on today to really dig in deep with the Masters, which we will later in the show. And I'm going to bring him in now, Anthony Peluso. Anthony, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate Mike and Vin having me on, and I hope I can help some guys and girls out there to make some money in the Masters this year.
Yeah, that's what we're excited about. And we're really going to spin this show because, we're going to go into a lot of betting. We're going to really dig into a lot of different kinds of topics when it comes to gambling tonight. So I'm excited about that. But let's start off with the game tonight, Mike. And, I thought the Final Four games were fantastic. I figured, Kansas was going to be a little too tough for Villanova. But
especially with the injury.
Yeah, but North Carolina, I think, shocked everyone. Just continuing to shock everyone. Shocked a friend of mine that I know that went to North Carolina. Didn't even think they had a shot. So there's been a lot of shock everywhere. But tonight we got Kansas -4, and we have an over/under 151.5. Mike, I know Kansas is big for you tonight because you had a lot of future bets on them. So gonna be fun for you.
I have a lot at stake tonight. This was the team that I picked from day one, and I admit to everybody after that Creighton game, I got very nervous, but they've kept their composure. What has to happen tonight? This is going to be a fast-paced game. Two very fast-paced teams, and Caleb Love from North Carolina was unbelievable last game. So that's going to be an important matchup. They're probably going to put Dejon Harris on him. And even though he's smaller, he has great hands and instincts, so you got to keep him afloat. What's going to be crucial for this game, too, is Baycott. He hurt his ankle last game, so we really have to see if he's going to be 100%. What Kansas really has to do is get the ball into David McCormick, because he played so great last game. His size definitely dominated. Get Baycott into trouble. Get him into foul trouble. Because, with their starters, Vinny, Leaky Black and Caleb Love played the whole game. They played the whole game last time. And they don't have a lot of depth. So you get some players in foul trouble, Kansas could really take over this game. So I do think North Carolina, I've said this from day one, that they're not an A seed. Put the seeds aside. They've been playing great basketball. They've been a big surprise. Christian Braun's been fantastic. Not Christian Braun, Leaky Black. RJ Davis has been playing so well. And Brady Manick, the transfer from Oklahoma. I mean, he has such a great, inside, outside, been playing dominant basketball. So I feel that Kansas has an advantage. I do think it's not going to be any kind of blowout. I feel the first team that makes it to 80 points wins this game, and I think it's going to be Kansas. My prediction, Kansas 82, North Carolina 78, and it's going to be a well-fought game. These teams are, again, there's some good matchups, but I think that also from a coaching perspective, Hubert Davis's first year, I think Kansas has an advantage with coaching and knowing what to do as far as matchups. And I just don't think North Carolina is going to be able to keep up with Kansas in the long run. I think it's going to be close, and maybe in the last 10 minutes of the game, Kansas starts to pull away with it. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, your score puts as a push since it's -4.
I know,
but it gives it over 160, over 151.5. Hey, Ann, did you do any brackets this year? Have any future picks? Do anything of that sort at all?
I did not with college basketball this year, but I've been watching, and I agree with Mike. I like Kansas, and it comes down to depth also in these type of games. The unsung hero coming out and surprising everybody in a game like this. So you may see that tonight.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think what we've seen with North Carolina is a short bench also. And I think, a team like Kansas, like you both said, that have a little more depth, a little bit more when it comes to these long minutes, these tough games, a lot of anxiety, a lot going on. I agree with you both. I like Kansas. If it was me, I would throw the -4 and take the over as well. I could see Kansas scoring upwards to 90 points in this game and winning by like 10. So yeah. I think that's where we're at. But we had the Vin and Mike bracket this year. We did our first one. So kind of interesting here that I'm actually in second, but I'm done because I had Gonzaga beating Kansas. So I'm shut out. Our guy Zach, who's been leading the whole time, is still leading, but he's done also. But for some reason, if Kansas wins, this guy named Mike is going to win the whole bracket and push Zach right out. And Zach was hoping to win because he wanted to be a guest on the show. He's like, if I win, I'm going to be a guest on the show. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. He might be pushing him right out of here.
It's so funny, Vinny, because I'm in another bracket, Dan Hernandez, and I'm the only person that picked Kansas.
Wow.
The only person. Wow. And the guy in the lead, he really wanted Duke to win because my picks haven't been that great, right, aside from Kansas getting here.
Yeah.
So if Duke would have won, and even if I hit on Kansas tonight, I still would have been in second place. Now that North Carolina won, if Kansas wins, I take the whole thing. So it's all or nothing here.
Yeah, you get what, 32 points for the championship game compared to the early games. So
correct.
Like if you have the national championship winner, you're usually in the money in the brackets. Usually, depending on who actually wins.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament, though. I mean, we talked about last show, Anthony, just St. Peter's and their run, and just how awesome that was to see. It was great for New Jersey. It was great for college basketball, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, my girlfriend actually went to St. Peter's, so we had an interest in it. So it was pretty cool one to see. It's such a small school. It's something we may never see again, but it was a great run for them. Really proud of them.
Yeah, and nice to see Shaheen Holloway, get a nice big deal from Seton Hall. I mean, it was probably the worst unkept secret anyway. He was getting that job. Sure. I think even if they got knocked out in the first round, but I think I told Mike off the air that Holloway was making $300,000 a year at St. Peter's, but he gave $50,000 of it back during COVID to the athletic program. So they had some money to continue going because of COVID and everything. So guy's a good dude and happy for him. He's got a nice multi-million-dollar contract now and got a big school, a lot more money. Maybe Seton Hall can make more noise in next year and moving forward. So it's kind of cool. But we're getting into Major League Baseball season here. Mm-hmm. Thursday's opening day with our little delay that we've had. I think we would have opened yesterday or today if we didn't have a little lockout, but that's okay. We know we're getting 162. That's all everyone cares about, and I think that's a big thing when it comes to a lot of these over-unders that have come out. I looked at DraftKings, of course. That's where I'm looking at my over-unders. And, of course, I put both New York teams on my list here just to talk about them and some of my feelings on them. So I'll start real quick with the Yankees and Mets. Yankees are right now are 91.5. I would still go over with the Yankees despite all the little things that go on there. I think they have enough of those big bats to beat up on those fourth and fifth pitchers and on a lot of teams with bad pitching. I think Garrett Cole has a big year. I think Severino and Montgomery will do enough for them to continue that. So I would go over the 91.5 that's out there right now. The Mets are at 88.5. Now, if you would have asked me last week, I would have went over. I would have went really over.
Well, I agree.
Now, we know DeGrom is out to probably, let's just say June 1st. Let's be fair. Right. So let's say he misses 10 starts, right? But, we'll see what happens with Scherzer tomorrow. He's going to throw a bullpen session. We know hamstrings can be touchy when it comes to pitchers and everything. Let's just say he misses 2 weeks. So let's say he misses 3 starts. So it's 13 starts that you miss your 2 big pitchers. And then so everyone moves up a spot. So your number 3 becomes your 1, all the things that happen. I think they might fall right in that 87, 88 number. And that's if DeGrom comes back on June 1st. And I think that's a big thing. I think right now with the uncertainty, especially DeGrom hasn't pitched since last July, I'm going to go under on them right now at 88.5. So, Mike, what are you thinking?
So I think with the Mets, you still they had the sign with Max Scherzer and Bassett. So even though DeGrom's out, they still have some strong pitching. And also they made some. They got Taijuan Walker. They got Carlos Carrasco. But Jacob DeGrom is such a dominant force, and without him, it's going to be a huge impact. So I agree with you, Vinny. If you talked to me a week ago, I would have went over on that, but I am not sure now. So we'll see. We'll see. The Yankees, I think that's going to be a battle in that division between them, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. I mean, I think all those teams are kind of evenly matched aside from the Orioles, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Tampa's getting a lot of respect either. They always seem to be.
They never do.
So I think it's going to be so fought out in that division. And I think I have to just disagree with you a little bit with the Yankees. And even though I'm a fan, I think the Yankees win about 86 or 87 games. I don't think they're winning over 90 this year. That's just my opinion.
Right. I mean, it's fair. We just, make sure you don't go to the Bronx this year because people will seek you out, but that's okay. And any of your feelings on those?
I kind of like going with Mike. I think Yankees under. Okay. And I kind of like the Mets over. I mean, yeah, I do, because I think they could beat up teams in their division, even though, Philly's improved a little bit. I'm not, Atlanta is Atlanta. So I think they could beat on a lot of the – I think there's a top heavy in the National League, and then it's mediocre and not that great. So I think they can get by with their lineup and their pitching they do have. Yeah. And if they do get DeGrom back sooner than later, then I think they go over that number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the interesting over-unders I saw on the site on DraftKings was any team over or under 103.5.
Dodgers over.
You think Dodgers will get over 103.5?
Yes, especially with Freeman and just the way that this team is stacked. What were the Dodgers? What was the number they gave?
97.5, I think, for them.
Okay, so that is my play.
So you
podcast
go
listeners right now
over on both.
Definitely over the night. Put over the 97.
Okay.
Yeah, and then sprinkle on the 103 because I think this is a team that I think they could win 105. I think they could. They're so stacked this year. They're going to be the best team in baseball. The other team I think that has a weak division are the White Sox. Now, being in that division, I think they could. What's the over under with the White Sox right now? I mean, excuse me, the games.
I don't know. Let me check. I didn't write them all down.
That's all right.
You should have wrote it down yourself. I don't know what you're doing there. In our pre-meetings.
Stop blaming me. I'm going to throw things at you on the screen. Write it down.
I thought we have pre-meetings for a reason.
While he's looking at that, though, I really like that Dodgers pick. I think I definitely feel that they're going to be the most dominant team in baseball this year.
I'll tell you the under that I like at 90.5 is the Padres. I think their injuries and their starting pitching does not do too much for me. So I'm big into them on the underside. So let's see here. Who we're looking at? Mike?
White Sox.
White Sox. Let us see. 91.5.
Yeah.
I would take the over on that.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So that's my two. I would say Dodgers and White Sox are my two plays that I feel confident about.
Okay. Yeah. I like, again, my big under I like are the Padres at 90.5.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony mentioned his team as, an improved team. And I like their over at 85.5 is the Phillies. I like that they added a bunch of bats to that lineup. Mm-hmm. I like their pitching staff. And, off the premise that Anthony mentioned about a weak bottom half of the National League, especially they play the Marlins a lot, and then you look at the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, and a bunch of other teams there. I like them over at 85.5. So, and anything on your end that you saw at all?
I love that Dodgers pick.
Okay.
I think that's 97's a steal.
Anthony, you and I are agreeing on a lot. We're going to have you on more.
I'm putting a hundy down today on that.
I may join you.
I love it. I think that's the lock. I really do. I see what Mike said. Well over 100. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I like it. All right. On top of that, the NFL came out with their early over-unders. I wrote 3 that I like right now, just based off of quarterback situations and divisions and all that. So Washington is at 7.5 right now. I'm going under with them. I think Carson Wentz is not that great. I don't think they're that great. So I'm going under 7.5. The Giants are 7. I think they're a definite under. I think they're a team that's in complete rebuild mode. Yeah, 3 or 4 wins they might be at. So I really like them in that under category. And then a team I like in the over, I like the Saints. They're at 8. I thought they played really well when Winston was there, and then he got hurt, and they still, found a way to be really competitive, almost make the playoffs last year. And besides, Tampa, the Falcons are terrible. The Panthers are terrible. That could be 4 wins, I think, right there for the Saints. I like them over 8. I think, to me, those are right now, as we're really far out from September. But I like those over-unders right now for those 3 teams. Mike, anything stand out for you?
Yeah, I was really surprised. Did people forget about the Rams? Because they had them at 10.5, and they just won the Super Bowl. And, the Buccaneers, sure, Tom Brady's back, but they have a change in their head coach right now. When changes, and they lost some people offensively and defensively. And I just feel like I think that should be over. I think that should be over 10.5. I do. I was surprised by that. I'd put them at 12. Do you guys agree with that? I was surprised they were only at 10.5.
Yeah, especially Russell Wilson's out of Seattle. Murray figures out a way to blow the second half of every season. And San Francisco is a lot of uncertainty there. They're saying Jimmy G's gone, so Trey Lance takes over. Are they a 10-win team with Trey Lance? We don't know. There's uncertainty there. So yeah, I think the Rams are a good over pick at 10.5. Anthony, anything for you sticking out?
Yeah, one team that sticks out to me is the Patriots, over 8.5. I think they're better. They just picked up Devontae Parker, so that'll help them. And they still got a good defense. They still got Belichick. Besides the Bills in that division, Miami, you never know. The other teams are pretty weak. I think New England over 8.5 is, I think, an easy one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one too.
Like that too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm just scared about my Jets, Anthony. Can they get a divisional win this year? You got the Bills are going to win. I mean, they're just so
they're
to the top. Yeah. And then Tyreek Hill now are Miami. They got to play them twice. Yep. And then this New England team. So it scares me. And I think the Jets look a lot better on paper this year. I was talking to someone before, Matt Carl, giving you a shout out because I know you listen all the time. Talking to Matt, and he said, listen, they do look better on paper. But when you're playing this AFC now, especially in this division and just, the other matchups, it's going to be tough. They have the Jets at 5.5. I think these analysts are right there. I mean, I hope they could get that 6th win. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Vinny, I absolutely agree with you with the Giants. I thought that was a high number. Sorry, Maz. They are rebuilding.
Yeah.
So they were very generous with that, I thought.
Yeah, I thought 7. I thought 7 was high. I'm not really sure where they figure this out. How they do it. It's got to be strength of schedule and all the analytics that they put together. But they got a new coach. We don't know their quarterback situation. We don't know anything. What they're going to do. And the division, Dallas is running that division. The Eagles made the playoffs last year. So to me, that alone, with those two teams top heavy, it's gonna be tough. That's why I also put Washington at the under. Also, I just think they're gonna have a tough time as well. But that's what we like about sports, right? This whole uncertainty and putting things out there and seeing what's going on. Anthony is a huge Bears fan, been for many, many years. I saw they're over under 7. Now I know. We don't bet on our own teams. Hopefully,
Right? No.
But do you think 7's high? As a fan, right where they are right now.
Where they are right now, I think that number's pretty right on the money. I could see them hitting that number or just maybe squeaking over it. With Rodgers going back to the Packers, that's what scares me a little bit. Without him there, I would have jumped all over that number. Mm-hmm. But with him there, in Minnesota, is going to be Minnesota. Detroit's getting better.
See, I was going to point on that real quick. That is my wild card pick. They are getting better, and they have them at 6.5. And I like how they started to play towards the end of the season.
That's right.
And I truly feel that I think they're actually I think they're going to be on Hard Knocks this year. Actually, Detroit.
Oh,
but
good.
they were playing so much better. I looked at their schedule. So for non-divisional games, they have to call them the Commodores now, which I'm getting used to. The Jaguars, the Seahawks, along with the Jets, the Giants, and the Panthers. So you know what?
All winnable games.
All winnable games, and I think I like that as my. I was looking at that today. I like that as my wild card pick. Detroit over 6.5.
Yeah, they may surprise people in that division coming second. They might.
Yeah.
I thought they played really hard for Campbell, like Mike said, the last 6-7 games there.
Did. Yeah.
I like following teams like that who finish strong at the end of the year. I always like looking at that angle.
Yeah, and then we'll get into this much later, but the fantasy implications of teams like that and what guys, we would draft from those teams. We always look at weak teams. You want to take one big star from them. You don't want to get like a second player from them, but who is that guy to actually take? And we'll dive into that much later into the season. But one of the big reasons we have Anthony here today, and we're gonna dig into this really deep today, is the Masters, which starts Thursday.
Yeah.
The biggest golf tournament of the year. I would say it's their Super Bowl. It's probably one of the most beautiful courses I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I've never physically been there, but just to see it on TV and to see pictures of it and how it looks exactly the same year after year, like it's like nothing changes. Like grass is the same kind of green, the flowers are the same height. It's just an amazing place to look at.
The flowers are the same height.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe you and I could do a podcast live there when we meet.
Yeah, we'll sit right on. What's the big hole? The 16th there or whatever, right?
Yeah, the 16th, I believe.
The 16th, right? We can sit right there on the 16th and do the podcast on a Monday during the first practice round, and maybe Tiger will hit us with a golf ball next year.
He might play,
Yeah, I
don't want to dig into a little bit of that also. So Anthony, to me, is one of the premier guys when it comes to picking golfers. He's thrown out many golfers to me through the years, and surprisingly, the guy will be in the top 3, if not win. I mean, just amazing how he puts it together and his thought process and everything. So, let's just dig into, before we start picking guys, let's think a little bit of your thought process when you look at the Masters as a whole.
Okay. I look at 3 things: driving distance and ball striking, and probably one of the top things is putting. In a tournament like this, it's going to come down to putting no matter what. Usually does. So I'm looking for somebody who carries all 3. Like in the past, like when I, not to, but I want to give out a name. I gave out a few years ago, back, I think it was 2012, I think it was, when I gave out Danny Willett. Nobody ever heard of him. I said was going to be bad weather. So I really analyzed who would play good in bad weather, and his name popped up, and I gave it out. And when he won at big odds. And, same thing with nobody heard of Bubba Watson. I hit him first for his first Masters, and this year, I had my heart set on one guy earlier. And Vinny knows who it is a guy that I pre-bet already, and now his odds are real low. I don't know if you want to get into that right now and tell you who I like, or you tell me.
Yeah. Throw them out and say the reason why what you saw. One of my questions is when you talk about driving distance and ball striking and putting, how far back do you go in tournaments? Do you look over just their last 10? Do you look over a 2-year period? Like what are you actually looking at when it comes to those?
I look how they played prior. I look year to date, last year, at trends. I like guys who are in good form too. It's important. My original pick a couple months back was Scotty Scheffler, and when I put him in, he was 50-1. And now today he's 12-1. So for me, that's not great value. And I'm going to explain how you can bet Scotty Scheffler later. Okay. But right now I don't, I would still, I would put him in, but I would wait on that. But I looked at Scotty because Scotty, not only he's like he's in the top 20 in ball striking. He is, he's number 15. I think he's top 15 in putting, and he's top 20 in driving distance. That's pretty good. And I got a guy who I absolutely love in this tournament, and I can't believe he's 50-1. And I understand, first time playing in the Masters, but today's technology, I throw that out the window. Here's a guy I think, hands down, has a big chance to win this tournament. Sam Burns. Okay. Sam Burns, I think, has it all. Just like Scotty Scheffler. Sam's top 10 in ball striking. He can top 30 in putting, and he's like top 20 in distance. There's a guy who doesn't have a weakness in his game, ice in his veins, can putt. I think he shows great value at 50-1.
And this is his first Masters?
Yeah, it'll be his first Masters, I believe.
That's why his odds are probably so like that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and then there's all these other guys there too.
Yeah.
That, the household names.
I'm not worried about that because today's technology, they do all the virtual golf. They got all the technology. They got all the that to me, his after Thursday, he'll have that course in his back pocket. So getting back to like value, like Scotty Scheffler, like 12-1, I wouldn't personally put money on that. But let's say Scotty gets off to a slow start, which he typically does. So say Thursday, he's like 8 shots back. His value might jump down to like 30-1. Right. That's when you put money down on him that he hopes he could come back. But 2 other guys that I'm going to give you, they're like 130-1 odds. Well, I mean, listen,
this is like, you know what, Anthony? This is like horse racing. It just reminds me of it because you're talking. You have to look at the weather. With some jockeys, you have to see. Oh, is the track going to be muddy? It's like a similar kind of betting style, right?
It is. It takes a lot. I really I don't just pick names out of a hat. Vinny knows. I really, similar to horse racing, and when I, another day for that. But two guys that I think great value. One guy, he's on a cusp of breaking out is Tyler Gooch. Okay. I think he's got good value. I think he's like 150 to 1 today.
I just looking 130. You're
130.
Right.
Okay.
130.
And then to make the top 5, 18 to 1, and then 8 to 1, top 20.
Okay.
Yep.
Here's a guy, ball striking, top 20.
Top 10, sorry.
His driving distance, Gooch is like top 50 in there. In putting, he can punt. He's in the top 100. So he's a guy, steady, but he's been on the cusp. He's been real close. I've been watching him all season. He's close. He's going to break out one of these tournaments.
Okay.
And another guy who, he's probably one of the bigger hitters in the game is Matthew Wolff. Okay. Surprisingly, with Wolff, he's top 3 in distance, but he's also top 20 in putting. Okay. So if he can get his ball striking in order, that middle of the run, his irons, because he's like top 100. If he can get that settled in, he's a dangerous guy in this type of tournament.
He's 180 to 1 right now.
Yeah. $5. You put $5 down.
Yeah, of course.
Why not?
Yeah, it's a good play.
Let me ask you. So let's just talk about some of the top guys.
Yeah,
and maybe not to win, but maybe there's a kind of way to bet them for like John Ram, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson. Those are the guys that people know, right? Like your novice that's just gonna throw a few dollars on. And like you said, 9 to 1, 12 to 1. It's not terrible if you're betting big bucks, but at the same time, is there a different way to maybe bet those kind of guys? Top 5 parlay, kind of, put 3 of them in the top 10 together in a parlay.
Right.
What would you look at to do with those kind of guys? Yeah,
something to that effect, because you're not going to get the value for your buck for a tournament like that with odds of 8 to 1. To me, there's no value in that. You can make some money with that, but if you want to take a shot, I'm surprised at this line. I really am. He's a guy. He's the 4th guy. He's Colin Morikawa. He's 20 to 1, and to me, he's top 3 golfer in the world.
Did he win last? He won it, didn't he? Or was that he won?
No, he didn't win. He didn't win the Masters. He
won. What did he win recently?
He won the either U.S. Open or the Tour Championship. He's won majors. I think he's won a couple majors.
Yeah.
There's a guy at 20 to 1. I think I would not let go at 20 to 1. See, for me, 20 to 1 with a player of that ability, he can easily win. So to me, I would focus on Colin, Burnsy, Gooch and Wolff. $50, spread it around, and you could do well there. But for as far as favorites, like 8 to 1s and 10 to 1s, like you said, Vinny, I think parlay is the only way to go with that. To me, if you like I said before, if you like a guy like that, hope he gets off to a slow start, and then maybe bet him to finish in the top 5. You may get more for your buck than opening day lines.
Is there any golfer that has got a pretty good line, like a Cameron Smith or a Dustin Johnson, that you would say is like a sucker bet, like even though they're 12 to 1 or 16 to 1, you wouldn't lay even $1 on them?
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Justin Johnson's game right now. He's not putting well. Brooks Koepka doesn't look right yet. even Justin Thomas, he plays well, then he falls off. Those type of guys, I'm staying away from. If they beat me, they beat me. But and John Rahm, he's not really in great form either. So I think this tournament's wide open. To me, the two guys who are in great form right now are Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler. Those are the guys you should focus on. Put some money down on them, and I think they'll come through for you.
Okay, cool, awesome. Let's talk about Mr. Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's been out with the leg injury. That he's I'm guessing he's there for the practice rounds. Going to decide, I guess Wednesday night or maybe even sooner if he can play, starting Thursday. If it was you, would you put a few dollars on him in top 30?
Yeah. Top 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Is he going to hold up for? He hasn't been on the golf course. I don't know if I don't know if he's going to be. I don't think he's even going to play.
Right.
If he does, good for him. It'd be great for the game. It'd be a great story because honestly, what he went through, we didn't think he was lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll be a wait and see with Tiger for this. I kind of would rather spend my money elsewhere.
Got it. And people are he's 45-1 right now, and he hasn't even hit a ball in how long, right? So people they just put money on him because it's Tiger Woods.
And it's not like this is an easy golf course, Vinny. I mean, this is one of the toughest golf. I mean, you're coming in. It's like me, here I am. I'm driving the F-150, and I'm going to go drive the Truck Series and win. It's not going to happen. If he does, I'll stand corrected. But I can't see it happening.
Yeah,
but it's great for the sport. It'll bring up ratings. It's going to be talked about. So that's what's great.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting stuff. And Paul Casey is a guy that I like for some reason at 60-1. Okay. Is there anything with your stats that maybe he doesn't fall into?
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay,
but I know Paul's game. Paul's a good. He's a good golfer. There's no doubt about it. He's shown some good signs lately. I've seen him play lately. He looks good. I think that's at 65-1. That's good value for a guy of that caliber. He can putt. Paul's got a good all around game too. He's a good ball striker. I think that I like that. I think there's nothing wrong with that pick. I think he fits the course. I just went with a little different direction with my picks.
Yeah,
but I'm nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm interested in playing some of these guys in top 10s and seeing and messing around a little bit. I think we get some good odds. Take a couple of these guys and put them together, even in top 10s, and I think you could get some good plus value here. Mike, anything on your end that you see?
I do have a question. Jordan Spieth, consistency. He's at plus 22-1. Where would you
roller coaster, that guy?
I would not touch him.
Don't touch him.
Not at 20. At maybe 80-1, I touch him, but not 22-1. I'm sorry. No.
Fair enough. Yep.
What do you think's happened to him? He looked like that. He just looked like he was going to be the next big guy, and then just slid off. Is he pressure? What do you think? When
he started, remember he was here. Justin Thomas was down here. Yeah. They're best friends, right? And all of a sudden, when Justin won a tournament, all of a sudden it just flip flopped, and he's never gotten his game back together. I go back to I remember the Masters that I mentioned with Danny Willey. He was leading that Masters, and he triple bogeyed a hole, and that cost him. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I watched him this past weekend at the Texas tournament. He just doesn't look right. He's inconsistent. His driving was that good. He's always seems like he's scrambling to get on the green. He could still, and his putting is not as crisp as it used to be. So his all-around game is at 22-1. I think I'm sorry, I would not touch that.
Yeah, I was cheering for my man Matt Kuchar this
Me too.
weekend.
Me too.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he just ran out of gas, I think, a little bit, Cooch. He's getting up there a little bit.
Up there.
He's getting up there, and these young guns, they put a lot of pressure on these guys. But he played well.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. But I wouldn't pick him for. I don't know. He's not even in the Masters. So anyway.
Yeah.
I got a funny question for Anthony. There's these golf prop bets, and one of which is player X to make a tournament hole-in-one. Out of these players, and I know it's just such a crapshoot.
Go ahead.
The odds are crazy on this. Who would you say with, I guess, who could hit the ball the furthest accuracy? Who would you pick on that just a little bit?
I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
I think he could do something like that.
Yeah, the odds are insane for everybody.
I'm guessing. So a guy like Sam Burns, who you mentioned, they have lowest round score. Also, I guess you could also, put money that way. Also,
you could. I keep it simple. I'm looking for the big W. But. I may take a shot with a parlay with the top 10, but I
was going to ask you could parlay golf. I didn't know that. You could parlay. Yeah, you could. Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you can parlay golf. I think you can. Let me double check it. I think I did it. Let me see.
Yeah, that's for the top 10. You're saying. Let's see.
No.
No?
Yeah, I tried. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, let's see top 20 if you could do it. No.
Okay.
No. Well, you could. Okay. Well,
No.
We can do that.
Never mind. Throw all our parlays out.
I'll tell you what, Anthony. I will be using Sam Burns 100%.
Oh, I did. I'll tell you. I put 100 to win on him. So
that'd be an awesome payout.
I'm guessing then the thing to do is just go across the board on these guys.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. So you do top 5, you do top 10, you do
win,
top
play,
20,
show.
top 30.
Win, play, show. And
right.
Hopefully if you miss with Burnsy, hopefully one of these other guys finish decent enough, you get your money back at least. You'll have action. You
can do action that way. So you just like you said, win, play, show 4 different golfers.
Yeah.
One of them hits, forget it.
Yeah, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, and then you never know. The other 3 can all finish in the top 5, top 10. So you get paid. Almost like you're double dipping.
Exactly. And I think I think those 4 guys, one of them's going to come in. One of them's going to win. But to me, I think it's going to be.
Well, hopefully, this podcast will go up late tonight, which is the Monday night. Actually, even before the game, right? The tournaments. Before the national championship starts, so people will be able to be tuned in even before that, and then they'll also get these Masters picks, either tonight or tomorrow. So people have more than enough time to put in some good bets. So our audience won't move the needle until tomorrow morning.
That's why mine's already in. It's already. I don't want to get chipped on 50-1.
Now that our podcast is spread throughout all these different services, which we're really happy about, so we're hoping for some good numbers coming off of this show tonight. But I know Mike had some questions for you again as a Bears fan. We like to get into the history of sports, the things we like to talk about on the show here. So I know Mike he had some 85 Bear questions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Mike.
So first of all, my trivia question to you on the 85 Bears.
Here we go.
I just want to see if Anthony. It's a good. They lost one game in the regular season.
Yeah.
What team beat them?
I didn't sleep that night.
That was easy.
Monday night. Dan Marino killed us.
There you go.
The Miami. I'll never forget that. Never.
You know what? So let me give you the good tidbit about that season, which I don't know if a lot of people know, but Anthony, of course, knows that the AFC Championship game was Dolphins Patriots, and the Patriots upset the Dolphins in the AFC Championship game, and everybody and their mother was hoping for a rematch of the 85 Bears and the 85 Dolphins in the Super Bowl, but we never got to see it. But that's a big tidbit from that season altogether.
And you know what's crazy? I was looking. I wonder if they shut out the Giants,
the Rams,
and they shut out the Rams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Twice. That's crazy to me.
And they gave up 10 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that's ever happened.
They were just stacked.
So Anthony, my question to you about that team, obviously, you know, the whole Buddy Ryan, Mike Ditka relationship.
Yep.
Buddy Ryan focusing on the defense and Mike Ditka focusing on the offense, and that was their jobs. They didn't really talk. So that was kind of unorthodox, you know, and I was, you know, I just want to get your recollection of what that was like watching those games and the body language and how it worked and just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I was a huge Ditka fan, but also I love Buddy Ryan because Buddy Ryan was a player's coach. And the defense really, you know, they bought into his system. They got the right players to fit mold. And it was like almost two separate teams, if you will. You know, you had the Bears, you know, Ditka with McMahon, and then you had Buddy Ryan with Singletary. You know, it was like that. But it was, if they would have kept it together, you know, I think they could have won two more Super Bowls. But you know,
he left the very next season, right, to go to the Eagles. Yeah.
It was because of they had monster egos, you know, and they just clashed. They just didn't work together, and the team blew up after that.
The fridge, what an impact.
Yeah.
What year did he come in? Was that his first season? Was he a rookie that year? Or
God,
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a rookie. Yeah.
What a force! What agility!
Well, you bring him up, and it brings up a question that came up on a 30-30 that still I think bothers me. What Gary Fensick said, that when he got the handoff that on the goal line, it really should have been Sweetness ball.
Yeah.
And the one thing that irked me was Gary Fensick said on 30-30, well, this is a team game. It's not about Walter Payton. Well, I beg to differ. First of all, I watched the Bears since I was in, middle school. And, watching, I remember Walter Payton, he was the Chicago Bears. We were awful. He was the guy that carried us to win 3-4 games. So, yeah, they dropped the ball on that. I think Sweetness should have got the ball. He should have got a touchdown. And
I think even Ditka said in that 30 for 30 that if he looks back at it, it was a mistake, and he didn't realize it at first. But that was your best player. You got to, give him credit. You have to, take care of your players, especially ones that have he was there for years at that point. I think he came in the league in 75. So he was there for 10 years already. So a veteran, a well-respected veteran that you have to really show respect for. And that did not happen.
Yeah, I think that was a big mistake. And, so I disagree with what people said about that. But
you said you were a Bears fan since middle school. So did you grow up around here, or did you grow up in Chicago, or
no, Rockland County, New York?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always ask people, because of these teams, if they're not Giants or Jets or Bills even, how did that come about for you?
I don't know. I just liked, honestly, when I first remember, I thought their uniforms were cool. The whole mystique, the Chicago Bears, I thought they were cool. I'm like, wow, and my friends, to this day, I have two close friends that we were in elementary school in second grade, and they remember that I have a picture on my phone with me with a 99 jersey, Bear jersey. and I just liked them since then. So, and like I go away, and I have the Chicago Bear tattoo on my arm. Everybody assumes, hey, what part of Chicago you are? I go, Rockland County, New York.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And then, like you, Mike, they'll quiz me for something, and they're like, all right, this guy's no joke. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, you're no joke. Absolutely. I love the passion.
How do you think in today's social media age, people would have reacted to Super Bowl Shuffle and the arrogance of doing that, even before like the playoffs started?
It would have been huge. It would have been huge on TikTok. It would have been huge on them all. Are you kidding? The Bears would have been, that team is today. They would have been flamboyant. They would have been all over the internet, personalities galore. I think they would have been great. They would have been great for football.
How do you think Jim McMahon, people think of quarterbacks, people look at his legacy as far as where they put him in the NFL?
Okay. I think a fearless leader. He didn't have all the skills. He didn't have the biggest arm. He wasn't, he can move around a little bit, but he just had an ability to put the team on his back and do whatever he had to do to win a game. That's Jim McMahon. He was fearless, a leader, and he was a winner. Bottom line, from BYU right to the Chicago Bears, he's always been a winner.
Is there anyone that you would compare him to in today's game? You know who I was thinking? I think he's better than him, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, but a different kind of player, because I think Garoppolo, he has, players that really helped him, but he seems like a leader and he makes his teams win. But I think I put McMahon, a notch above that.
Well, yeah, and Jimmy G's got talent. I see a little similarity there. I'm trying to think if there's anybody who pops in my mind.
I'll tell you, the guys nowadays aren't as tough as was.
He was
from Buffalo. He's tough. That guy is.
Well, he runs through everyone. He's also got a massive arm. He's like Dan Marino with Earl Campbell running, and I mean, he's just an amazing talent. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is incredible.
I know he's your first pick this year in fantasy, so I already know that.
No. Hey, listen, we won a championship this year, so I'm very proud of that team.
That's right. So I'll tell you, Mike, this is how me and Anthony worked through the years.
Yeah,
I help him with many, many drafts. He likes the way I draft fantasy football teams. But when he takes over a team, if there's not 100 moves made during the season, he's not paid attention.
Okay.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. I'm a mover and a shaker, man.
He will trade almost every single player I have drafted, and I'll sit there and go, why did I draft that guy if you're going to trade him?
Hey, it works.
Yeah, it works. It absolutely does. Yeah, but we did win a championship this year and finished second in the other league. So
yes, we did.
Both.
Yep, very proud of that.
That was good. It was a good year. This has been great.
Fantastic show.
Yeah, I wanted to dig into a sport I think that a lot of people don't pay attention to on an everyday basis, but when there is a big tournament that comes around and people are paying attention, especially now in the New York, New Jersey, and a lot of these other states, that the online gambling is huge. These sports books are tremendous, and I think it makes a little bit of fun for them now to have something to go back on. They don't have to agree with anything that was said, but if they're looking at something and and interest and maybe want to put a flyer, there's some good bets out there that Anthony put out, some really names that aren't household at all that are really good odds, and like he said, he's got somewhat of a history of doing well, some pretty good bets that are coming out. So hopefully, for our audience, they'll get into it. The other good thing is Anthony's also a big thoroughbred guy. He has been for a lot of years. So before the Derby, we're going to have him come back again on a Monday. We're going to do a similar kind of show that we always do and have him dig into his Kentucky Derby picks, which I also know Mike is a big horse guy too. Yeah. He likes it. So I think that'll be a lot of fun with the three of us who probably bet every Derby in the last 30 years.
Mike, you'll be I hit for the Saudi Arabia, the big $20 million race.
Yeah.
I singled the winner of that race in the last leg of a pick 3 for 99-1, and he won. My bet was, listen, I'm a firm believer, tell your audience this, I bet small to win big. It was an $18 bet, came back for $2,200.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. You don't have to bet big to win big. So I'm a firm believer of that. So we'll get into that in the Kentucky Derby, and we'll get some winners out there for you guys.
Yeah, the Kentucky Derby is a lot of fun because, as you know, the value for some of these horses is tremendous. Even the favorites sometimes 6-1, 7-1, and in horse racing, if people don't know, those are huge numbers. I mean, like huge numbers. So it'll be a lot of fun.
A little different from golf. When you get a horse, we'll talk about that later.
Well, there we have the exactas and our trifectas,
superfectas,
and my favorite is a $1 superfecta box.
The best. Even you could do a 10 cent or 50 cent.
20 cents. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot, and we'll dig into that and probably about a month from now, and tell people what it means and how it works and all that stuff, and answer questions and go that route. Maybe even do a little Q&A on the Instagram, which again, if anyone isn't following us, go to Vin and Mike Podcast on Instagram. And then if you're listening to us on one service and prefer to listen to us on another, we're most likely there. We're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Odyssey, we're in Apple. So, we have the regular website you can listen. So, wherever you're listening to us today and you decide you want to listen to us somewhere else, we're there. And if we're not there, reach out to me and we'll make sure that we're there. So it's been a great show. Mike, anything else?
No, I just want to thank Anthony. It was great having you on. A lot of great insight, as Vinny said, on the Masters, which is not talked about historically a lot. We don't. It's not really discussed with friends of mine. So I love getting your analysis on that. It's very interesting, and I think people are going to really appreciate that. And even before the show, people were contacting me when they saw our Instagram post about how happy they were, because this is something that is a historic event that people watch, but they really don't know how to bet and get insight. So no, that was great. And thank you for taking us through the 85 Bears. I'm sure we could talk for hours about the history of football, but we'll have you back and talk about it. And thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. All right, everyone. Have a great night. Talk to everyone soon.
See ya.